So I found this 10-minute chili peanut noodle dish, and my theory is it's not actually a 10-minute dish, so why don't we try it and find out? So I know I'm not the only person who's ever spiraled into watching these like 10-minute quick and easy healthy dishes, etc. Now I have no idea if this one's actually healthy or not. Let's assume it's probably not. But one thing that I do notice in all of these dishes is that they all say they're 10-minute dishes, but they have all the ingredients laid out and pre-measured. They have all the water already boiling. And my theory is none of these are actually 10-minute dishes unless you start from that point. So I figured let's start with a clean slate. Let's actually test this out, see how long this recipe takes, and then we can talk a little bit about how this applies for our ADHD brains across more than just, recipes and cooking. I think the part that's going to take the longest is actually the water. So I'm going to start with getting the water going. We don't need a ton of noodles because I'm just making a single serving. So I'm not going to go super high on the water, but we'll get that going there. All right. Cook the noodles. Bring the pot of salted water to a boil. Cook noodles according to package direction. Cook noodles, heat the oil. While the noodles cook, heat the sesame. Oh my God, all right, I need another pan. Heat the oil. While the noodles cook, heat the sesame oil over medium heat for 2 minutes until shimmering but not smoking. In a heat-proof bowl, combine Korean pepper flakes, garlic powder, and chopped green onion. And then the green onions, which are not washed or cut yet. I don't even know if you had everything set up in advance if this would be a 10-minute dish. But maybe. And to be fair, I am trying to cook like a normal person and put stuff away as I actually finish with it. Carefully pour the hot sesame oil over the mixture, stir to bloom the spices. And now, of course, what we've ended up with is a very classic ADHD. I have two things ready at once. Finish the sauce. Add to the peanut butter, soy sauce, rice vinegar, white pepper. Peanut butter, soy sauce. How much peanut butter? 2 tablespoons creamy peanut butter. Well, this is as creamy as it can get. 1 tablespoon soy sauce, 1 tablespoon rice wine vinegar. Pour the sauce over the drained noodles. Well, that's not happening because the noodles are just going in the bowl. That's probably horrible. So now we're just waiting for the noodles. To be fair, I do think, these are gluten-free rice noodles, so, I think it's probably fair that, they take a little longer to cook up than, Alright, I'm supposed to retain some of the noodle with the pasta water, loosen the sauce if needed. I made a couple of executive decisions as we went, swapped in some chili peppers. I really like Aleppo chilies as opposed to, I think it's Korean chilies. So I just swapped those. And then just a few, miscellaneous swaps that I made, including I did not use all of the sauce, which ended up being a good thing. And what I will say is it ended up taking, you can check the timer. I'm not sure exactly how long, about 17 minutes or so to cook this, and do all the collection stuff, which on the one hand, and yes, we're going to try it in a second here. But on the one hand, that's not bad, right? To go from scratch to cooking up. And I did comment while we were cooking, I don't know if you could hear it, but I did choose is a rice-based ramen noodle that is a little bit harder. It does take a little bit longer to cook, but I don't think that added 7 minutes to this. And here's kind of my takeaway and my point for all of this, right? First of all, I've made the dish, but I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dishes dirty, that 12, 13, if you include the chopsticks as one, right? So not only have I made a little bit of a mess, but there is a lot of prep work that almost doubled the amount of time that this recipe took. And the reason that I wanted to do this is because I think a lot of times we as ADHDers end up doing the same thing. So we end up dealing with this time blindness concept. And so we have this idea in our head that a task should take 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And the problem is we tend to also have this optimism gene going on. And so we're oh, I did this once in 30 seconds, so it's going to take 30 seconds again. but it never takes 30 seconds, right? Something goes wrong, the software doesn't work, whatever. It takes more time. And the problem is that happens again and again and again. So we get to the end of the day, and this thing that was supposed to take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes took so much more time. We forget, and because we don't do a great job understanding how time passes sometimes, that things end up taking longer. You can end up hyperfixating, and 2 hours past you didn't intend to spend on that task. The whole point of this is, like, a lot of times we're told something should take this much time, but it doesn't always include the amount of time that it took to learn how to do it, to get things set up, to collect the ingredients, to put the ingredients away. I still have to put some of the ingredients away. And so we end up like not necessarily being set up for success for ourselves. We end up measuring ourselves to something that is completely unreal and unrealistic. Could a professional chef put this together in 10 minutes? Probably, but we're not. And so I get why they do this for the videos, because 17-minute dish does not get nearly as many views as a 10-minute noodle dish. However, I think it's really important that we start to recognize the prep work. In addition to all this, I had to like actually pull the recipe, and then I had to make sure we had all the supplies for it. Like, nothing is ever just the little bit that it sounds like. We try and address this quite a bit on this channel, but I want to encourage you to start thinking the same for yourself, because your ADHD brain already has some, unique challenges in measuring time, and we're not always set up for success by everything going on around us. Now, all that said, everything I did see said this recipe was delicious, so I'm really, really crossing my fingers. Not not delicious. I mean, it's not bad. I would probably put quite a bit more of the rice vinegar in here, because I think it needs more tang. Probably would have done a little bit less soy sauce, and probably quite a bit more of the rice vinegar, which is what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna try and do this for lunch. So I'm gonna see if I can like make this tasty to me. Should we add? I feel like we should like add this to the cooking time, because now I'm having to adapt the recipe to match my taste buds, because weird taste buds. All right, let's see. Now I might have overdone the rice wine vinegar. Try again. That's good. In the recipe that we'll put, we'll cut the soy sauce in half from what I just did, and double the rice wine vinegar. And not a bad dish. Pretty easy to make, pretty tasty. It does have quite a few layers and depths to it. You can taste the peanut butter, which adds a really nice thickness to the sauce. Now you can taste the rice wine vinegar. And there's definitely a little bit of a bite. Yeah, I think it was a pretty good recipe. So just plan a solid 20 minutes for it, and there you go.